Another epic comeback falls short, but the Nashville Predators lead Boston with a massive point earned.
You're Locked On Predators, your daily podcast on the Nashville Predators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Locked On Predators podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. Thank you for making us your first stop of the day. We are your free daily Nashville Predators podcast. I want to start off by shouting out all of our Locked On Predators podcast community and our everydayers who tune in to chat all things Preds every day. My name is Jack Williams, and I am the Nashville Predators beat writer for the Hockey News, and tell me if you've heard this one before. Nashville Predators go down early. They come back, and then they drop it all. And that's exactly what happened again in the most recent result to the Boston Bruins that happened on January 27th on Tuesday in Boston. Predators put themselves in a 2-0 hole, are able to dig themselves out of it, force overtime, and then fall flat in OT in a 3-2 game. More of the same, massive point earned in the process, and we'll explain why towards the end of the episode on the final segment, why that point is important, not making them get into playoff position or being a game within playoff position, but merely keeping their head above water at this point. That is what that point means in Boston. And I know I said point like 3-4 times in a row, but it is their life raft right now. It is their whatever you want to call it that is keeping them afloat right now and giving them any sort of inkling of a chance, this point that came out of the Boston game on Tuesday. But we'll get into the game right here and talk about how, once again, they're starting off on the wrong foot in a 2-0 hole in the first 22 minutes of the game. And funnily enough, a lot of these goals were scored the same way that we've seen throughout it, where we have the defense and guys just not knowing what's going on, moving slow to the puck, and just bad ice awareness. On the first goal, it was very similar to something that we saw in the Utah game on Saturday, where you have the faceoff happening, they lose the faceoff, they're scrambling right out of the faceoff, doesn't seem where they know where it all to line up at all. And then the puck goes into the net because they're not paying attention what's happening on the right side of the ice. They cannot get set and move to that side of the ice correctly, leaving a guy open and scoring. That's what happened. Face off, Predators scramble, puck goes to the right side of the ice. Lindholm moves in, scores on a long shot. It can be argued that Matthew Wood put a screen in front of Josi Saros on the shot. However, I give him a little bit more credit on that because he was going up to Lindholm to pressure him and put pressure on the puck and defend him. And we have not seen any of that lately, where we've seen a lot of situations where the Predators are kind of just puck watching and just watching it go in. I don't really put any blame here on Matthew Wood of accidentally setting a screen leading to the goal because he was putting pressure on Lindholm, and we're just not seeing that from anybody on the Predators as of late. 1-0 already. Second goal, and this just looked really bad. You have Pastrnak on the high boards. He is in the Predator zone, high, just over the blue line, and you have 3 Nashville Predator players on him. You have Pastrnak triple teamed. You have 2 guys that are watching everybody else. You have 3 guys defending 1 guy in the corner. And you know what? Maybe it makes sense. You have debatably the best Czech player in the league right now. I guess that requires attention from 3 different Predators players. And you know what? He has the ice awareness to make smart plays because you know what he did? He was just over the blue line, high in the Predator zone. You had Morgan Geekie, who was low, kind of by the hashes towards the boards, just hanging out because nobody was paying attention to him. Pastrnak easily moves the puck down deeper into the Preds zone. Wasn't pressured enough to throw it away or throw it out. He had a guy right along the boards just hanging out waiting for it. Moved it down. Suddenly, Geekie has all this open ice on a one-on-one with Saros coming from the right side, and picks the left corner on UC Saros and scores, and it's 2-0. That might be one of the worst goals that we have seen in this stretch of the Predators, where they've lost X amount of games in this X amount of stretches right now. That might be the worst. Why are you putting 3 players on one guy? I understand David Pastrnak is good, but that good that you're sacrificing all that. And suddenly the Predators are in a hole, and suddenly it's comeback time. Suddenly it's comeback season. And you know what? Give them props where props are due. Unlike the Utah game, unlike the Buffalo game, they were able to push this an extra period and get a point out of this. They began to turn it around at the end of the second period. Pastrnak gets called for slashing Roman Josi, and they get a late power play into the second period, and late enough to where if they didn't score there, it would dwindle into the third period. Sure enough, they get the puck moving. You get Roman Josi on the right side, open for a one-timer shot, and he scores for his 199th career goal. It's 2-1. It's manageable. You're scoring right at the end of the second when things haven't looked great, and suddenly you have all the third period to yourself. You're moving in with a ton of momentum despite being down. Second goal for the Predators, which tied the game, and we got to talk a little bit about Nick Blakenberg here, who is a workhorse through and through. I swear to God, this man deserves eons of appreciation that he may or may not be getting, because he is getting his flowers completely, but they even just need to be more amplified and just talking about how bad this defense has been this year and how important he's been as the guy that stepped up, because he has been completely that. And we saw it again here, and just backtracking a little bit before I get into the goal, because I'm just remembering things here off the fly. In the Utah game, he's the guy applying pressure despite giving up the goal. He's the only guy that's working in that situation. He's the guy going in and doing the dirty work, trying to shove the puck off, even though he is mismatched to who knows what, because he is like around my height, and he's going up against guys that are 6 foot or larger. Like, he is an absolute workhorse, and he has done so much for this team that just needs to be appreciated even more than it already is. He takes the puck into the zone. He moves it down to Evangelista. Evangelista sends it back up to Blakenberg. So Blakenberg walks up high into the zone again, into Boston's zone, throws it over to Wilsby. Wilsby gives it back to Blakenberg, and Blakenberg's like, you know what? Why not? Let's shoot the puck. He shoots the puck. He wrists it in. It goes in low. The game is tied. Again, one of these guys on this team that just deserves the most rewards, most flowers. He has just done a ton this year that needs to be immensely appreciated. Just, in my opinion, one of the most underrated guys and just the effort he's putting in this year. He's been massive. And I know it's not going unnoticed. I see it a ton in just people being like, Nick Blakenberg has been massive this year. Massive. And it's, like I said, he's trade bait completely. I wouldn't be surprised if teams are sniffing around to get him in and get him onto their team. And you know what? I saw somebody mention it and saying, when is that contract extension coming? And you're right, because the defense, there's nobody on that defense right now, in my opinion, other than Roman Josi and him, that are worth it. That's a crazy thing to say, right? What's Brady Shea doing? What's Nic Hague doing? What's Nick Perbix doing? What's Adam Wilsby doing? What's Justin Barron doing? In my opinion, a lot of that is disposable. That's just my opinion, though. That might be a wild thing to say, but when you look at the defense this year, it's been Josi and Blakenberg keeping this afloat. And I understand Shea has his own role, but it just doesn't live up to what it was promised to be and what it was. Barron, I don't understand how he's still on this team and how he's not in Milwaukee or he's been traded somewhere else. Wilsby's just been forgettable. Perbix has been forgettable. And Hague just, I said at the beginning of the year, he was going to be put into a top line role. And I said, he's never been in this position in his career. And sure enough, it doesn't look like he's a top line player. And I understand he's injured right now. He spent a lot of the year injured too. So he has that against him. And maybe I'm not seeing him at his full potential, and we're not seeing him at his full potential. Those are my thoughts on the defense. We'll get back into the game here. Fast forward, it's 2-2, and now the game's going to overtime, and the comeback is on. The Predators have it. They're forcing OT. They were down 2-0. It's go time. We're going to win this in extra time. They lose the faceoff in overtime. And then similar to what we saw in the overtime loss in the earlier season to Utah and what we saw in the OT loss to Vancouver, they are wiped on the floor in overtime, in just possession, in speed, and the Bruins make them look silly real quick, flowing unbelievably well, and the Predators once again are scrambling, trying to find the puck. Suddenly, David Pasternak's crashing the net. I can't remember who got the pass on or the shot on. They get a pass shot on net. Pasternak is crashing, gets a tip on it, gets it over the line before he ends up colliding with UC Saros. Game's over. It's the first Predators overtime loss since November 4th. So this team has been good in shootouts and overtime for the past November, December, 2 months, almost 3 months. But it's just more of the same stuff. Like we could run through the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same results. Just the comeback thing. And I just can't keep saying this anymore. So I'm not going to say it, but you just can't keep doing the same things over and over again and expect different results. You can't keep going down constantly and expect to constantly have this shovel in your hand and keep digging a hole, and eventually being able to get your climbing gear out and dig out and climb out of this hole. Listen, that shovel is either going to snap or your climbing gear is going to give out eventually, because you can't keep doing this. And again, 2 games of bliss against Edmonton and Colorado, where everything, in my opinion, went right. We have not seen that since. 2 games of bliss, and that was it. And we're seeing more of the same right now. And somehow, in some way, they are still in this playoff heave right now. But we're going to take a quick break. We're going to deviate a little from the game and what's currently going on, or at least what currently happened in the Boston game and what could be happening ahead. And we're going to visit injured reserve and rant a little bit more and talk about who might be joining that list right now, who is on that list currently, and if there will be any movement at all, and talking about guys coming up from Milwaukee and earning their chance, and guys who currently have those minutes that may be more suited for a role in Milwaukee. This is going to be a spicy episode, y'all. But that's all we have for now. We're going to go into a break, and then we're going to take a visit to injured reserve. That is coming up. There is nothing like being near the ice during hockey season. The speed, the hits, the atmosphere, it's unmatched. Watching a game at home is great, but being in the building is a completely different experience. The only thing that used to get in the way was actually getting tickets. Long queues, endless screens, and price changing at checkout. That's why the Gametime app gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing NHL tickets and experiences in just a few taps. I pulled up the Gametime app to check out upcoming NHL games. If you guys are out east, Predators are out east right now, playing New Jersey on Thursday and then wrapping up with the Islanders on Saturday. Some good ticket deals going on out there, and they pop up instantly. I was surprised to find how fast it was to get great seats. Fees are included. Know your total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. The app is incredibly easy to use. Browsing, comparing, and buying tickets took just minutes. One of my favorite features is seeing the view from my seat before buying, so I know exactly what I'm getting. The zone deals are clutch. You choose your section, Gametime picks the seats, and you save even more. Seeing NHL tickets available for as low as $25 makes it easy to plan a game night. I really like that fees are included up front, so the price you see is the price you pay. Knowing tickets are backed by the Gametime guarantee gives real peace of mind. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. So welcome to IR, or at least the injured list right now. One is on IR, one is currently day-to-day. New updates on the day-to-day. Fedor Svechkov left the Boston game early after taking a hit from Lindholm that was called for interference. Seemed like it was really hard on Svechkov's shoulder. According to ESPN, according to CBS, he is upper body and day-to-day. And then when we heard in the Utah game was Nic Hague was a lower body injury in his week to week. So he's going to be out for a lot sooner. So what has this transpired into? What will this look like? And will there be opportunities ahead? So let's talk about the obvious first, in saying that with this team, really don't expect any surprise roster changes, as we have not seen that at all this year. And that's what it's going to look like with these two potentially out. One of them completely out, one of them potentially out. Nic Hague, out of all the guys, you know what? We're going to do this second because I have a lot more to say about this than I do the other one. Fedor Svechkov, if he's out the next few games, it's going to be him. It's going to be Tyson Jost coming in, because that's what we've been seeing all season. Even when Fedor Svechkov was a healthy scratch, Tyson Jost came into and ran reps at center. So that's where he's going to be utilized. If Fedor Svechkov is out, they're just going to run with Jost until the Olympic break. I don't see any change up with that forward line. That is the role that Tyson Jost has taken in, to where if they are down a man, Jost is going to come in. If they have a healthy roster, he is going to sit. I've just accepted that's the role that Tyson Jost is going to play. And unless they have another injury, or unless they want to be a little bold and send some players who aren't playing well down to Milwaukee, this is what the situation is going to be until I don't know how long, or if anything changes, or at least what might be new grounds is after the Olympic break is coming up to the trade deadline. We might see a little bit more movement. Now, and of note too, Jost was scratched in the Boston game. So he did not play. He did not play that night. Hold on, y'all. I want to double check that just to make sure I'm giving you guys the right information. I believe that's correct, but I'm going to take a quick pause here. It will seem like a little blip for y'all, but I'm going to pause here and make sure I got that right for y'all. All right, I am back. It was probably less than a second break for y'all, but Tyson Jost did not play, so that was correct. He did not play there for Svechkov when he left the game early. They're man down. Tyson Jost is going to come in if Svechkov doesn't play in the upcoming games. Now, on the back end, Nic Hague is injured, so they call up Andreas Englund. Whew, y'all, I just don't get it with why the Predators immediately go to him. I understand he's a vet and he has experience and he's a big guy, and that might be the reason why he's coming up, is because the Predators like size a lot. But he has 6 points in 36 games down in Milwaukee. And England's played tonight because they had to, and Barron played too. So nobody was scratched on the back end. Usually, what we've seen this year is Andreas Englund has been called up and has just sat, but there is just so many other options down in Milwaukee with guys that are playing, especially on defense, really, really well, who deserve runs, who deserve looks. And as a team that continues to be right outside this playoff bubble, maybe you'd like to look at some guys defensively, depth-wise, that can add more, other than a guy that happens to have a lot of NHL experience, isn't playing well and just continuously running with him constantly, isn't playing well in Milwaukee and isn't playing well in Nashville. He's not a regular. Again, Ryan Ufko, 40 points in 39 games, has not played a single game with the Predators. Jordan Osterley, 21 points in 39 games. Even Tanner Molendyk, 11 points in 37 games. You have a really deep, special defense in Milwaukee. And I just don't get it why Andreas Englund is constantly brought up into this. It's baffling. And it goes into, I guess, more so of not making sense of, we're in a rebuild, and not making complete sense of it. Not making complete sense of it at all. You're not moving up your young talent at all. I'll play devil's advocate as somebody who's saying the Predators should be making a push for a playoffs here. I'll go against what I said right now. If you want to take the next step and continue developing, you can't just leave all the kids down in Milwaukee for eternity. And we'll go back to the Svechkov argument. They won't call anyone up if he's out. They won't send him down if he's playing bad. Tyson Jost, they won't send him down because they just have guys in these roles already and they're fine with it. And especially now with the Olympic break coming up and then the trade deadline after that, you need to reevaluate your picture and realize if we keep sitting on this core right now, this group, and I'm not talking about making massive out of the water trades, but I'm saying tweaking things here and there that could give you the boost you need to finally get into the wild card position you have been chasing for a month. You're right there. Would you think maybe adding a Ryan Ufko or a Zach LaRue into the lineup instead of a Fedor Svechkov that is underperforming, or a Justin Barron who just comes in and out, or maybe switching out Andreas Englund for someone else, maybe you would think that would give you the boost that you need. And we don't know if that will get tried out because we have not seen it at all this year. And we keep hearing, it seems like it's kind of a safety cushion right now. We're not making any moves. Nothing's happening because the Olympics are coming up, and we don't want those guys just sitting here for 2 weeks and not doing anything. We want them playing in Milwaukee. And that seems like what we've been hearing week in and week out. We better see like a ton of guys being on direct flights from Milwaukee to Nashville right as soon as that Olympic torch goes out. That's my take on it. Because right now you need some sort of boost to get you into the playoffs. Or onto the argument that many of you have, maybe it's time to tear it down. You need to do something. One way or another. We're at the decision point, and I know I keep going off of the topics we were on each segment, but this is the continuous thing we are at right now, and that we are at another decision point with this team, and it can no longer be just sit and watch, because that's put them in a position right smack dab in the middle of everything right now. Add depth and get better, or realize, you know what, things aren't going our way. It's time to back it up a little bit more and start a even deeper rebuild. And again, I know we're talking about IR, but what goes into all of this is if guys are injured, maybe it's worth trying out some depth pieces in Milwaukee. Whether that be in going backward in wanting to rebuild stuff or trying to push forward and get to a playoff spot, it needs to be tried. I just don't understand the Andreas Englund constantly being brought up as that defensive call-up. I don't understand just throwing Tyson Jost in and out when you could have guys in Milwaukee that could give you better minutes. Ooh, it's a headache. It's giving me a headache, y'all. And you know what? It's going to relieve my headache talking about the Everydayers Club. So thank you for making Locked on Predators your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked on the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad free. Join the Everydayer Club and get Locked on Predators with no interruptions, members only, Discord access, and more. All for just $5 a month or $50 a year. $5 a month or $50 a year if I'm speaking too fast. Go to lockedonpredators.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. When we come back, more ranting and staying alive, and we will get into the nitty-gritty of the point that was earned here tonight and how that is a lifeboat in a very cold, long sea en route to a land that is the playoffs. But we will see what happens with that coming up after the break. New year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of how we run our businesses and think there has to be a better way. And there is. Streamlining your communications is one of the quickest upgrades you can make. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo, the smarter way to run your business communications. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with your customers. I love how simple Quo makes everything. Your whole team can call and text from one shared business number, so nothing gets missed. Everyone sees the full conversation thread, which makes replies faster and more personal. It works right from your phone or computer, so you can even keep your existing number. And Quo's smart AI tools automatically log calls, summarize conversations, and highlight next steps, so details never slip through the cracks. It's no surprise Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams. Make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnhl. That's QUO.com/lockedonnhl. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. So now we're going to talk about the Bee Gees song, Staying Alive. I said it like that so I don't get copyright striked. I didn't sing it. I said it. I said Staying Alive. Now, in my opinion, and I almost commented that today when somebody asked about it and said it's a critical point that was earned. And I said, yeah, it stops the bleeding for a second. It patches the bleeding, but I didn't want to be too much of a pessimist, and I didn't want to rain so hard on this person's parade. Yes, it keeps them within a 2-point range of the playoffs, which is manageable, but they are still 4 points behind every team in front of them. The 3 teams that are in front of them are all tied with the same point totals, and they're all 4 points behind them. That is Seattle, San Jose, and Los Angeles. And to add more fuel to this fire, Chicago is now closing in on Nashville. They have 51 points. And just saying, Chicago is closer to passing Nashville than Nashville is to passing the 3 teams that they have been chasing for a month. They're right there. They have been right there. And now, especially lately, it feels like it's slipping more. It feels like it's falling away very slowly. As slow as the Predators have gotten up there, it now feels like it's all kind of sinking back. They need to string wins together now. They need to go on some sort of win or whatever it is, some sort of run now. This New Jersey game is a winnable game. The Devils are 9 points out of a playoff spot. I don't know how much they're eyeing getting into that final wild card, but they are a ways out of there right now. That final game against the Islanders is going to be challenging because the Islanders consistently this year have been one of the best teams in the Metropolitan. They need to string something together. They need to put wins together. They need to get either back on that pattern. They cannot keep losing. They cannot keep putting themselves in a hole. It's just not manageable. I've said that so many times, but it's just not. And I'll be real with y'all. This does not look like a playoff team at all. A few nights ago, I flipped on the Sharks-Rangers game. That Sharks team looks like a playoff team, and that is a playoff team, a team that deserves it. In my opinion, I'll be blunt. They look really good. They move really well. Macklin Celebrini is unbelievable. They got on top of the Rangers and annihilated them right from the beginning. Predators don't look like that. The San Jose team moves fast. They flow consistent. This Predators team does not flow well. And again, come back, that's not something to be proud of. Consistently and doing it over and over again. Like on an occasional basis, it's fun, but doing it every game, that's not it. That ain't it. And you know what? Maybe a break is what this team needs at the Olympics, because there's a lot of the same things we're seeing over and over again. And maybe a pause is what this team needs. And maybe it's exactly what the doctor prescribed. Maybe there needs to be some sort of reset mentally or whatever. And maybe they'll come out of the Olympic break and annihilate everybody. They're playing Chicago right after the Olympic break. And that will be a huge, huge, huge game. Because like I said, Chicago's catching right up to them. Look like a playoff team. Put it together, because the teams in front of you look like playoff teams. I haven't seen much of LA, so I don't have an opinion on that. Seattle looked really good against the Predators. San Jose, again, like I said, they look great. Anaheim made the Predators look silly earlier this year. Like, yeah, something's got to change. Something, whether it be the style of play, the way you're winning, or personnel or whatever, like something's got to change up here, because it cannot consistently be the same things over and over again. But the next game is against the New Jersey Devils on Thursday. So again, it should be a competitive game. It will probably be another comeback, and I will probably be back for the Friday episode yelling about the same things. So look out for that. But that is all I got for you guys today. I am exhausted, so I am going to go to bed after this, and I hope you guys are having a good start to your day, having a good start to your Wednesday. If you want to hear more of my stuff, I am at Jack G. Williams on Twitter/X. Remember, I am Jack Williams on the Hockey News Nashville Predators. If you guys are just interested on Locked On Predators, we're LO_Predators on Twitter, and then we're just Locked On Predators on Facebook and Instagram. And reminder, if you guys want to be super fans of the Locked On Predators podcast, there's always the Everydayer Club. You get ad-free audio and access to our members-only Discord, all for $5 a month, $50 a year. But that's all I got for you guys. Again, thank you for listening to my ramblings. I appreciate y'all. I'm very thankful for y'all. I am grateful for y'all. Love that you guys keep coming back and listening. Again, got some good things planned for February in the break, so just keep chilling with me, keep chatting. Love to hear what y'all think. Love having these conversations. Love having our talks. I need to go to bed. I am so tired, y'all. But I will talk to you guys tomorrow on another episode of the Locked On Predators podcast.